Hi Taurus, thank you for joining me for your February 2018 forecast for the month. I am reinventing myself and I've purchased the Thoth Tarot deck by Aleister Crowley. I was inspired to purchase this from a client who I had read for, and he asked why I didn't ever use this deck before, so I'm using it. And it's beautiful, I'm inspired, I'm receiving heavy messages from it. Here's what the backs look like. So I'll be shuffling this during the astrological portion of the forecast. Thank you for joining me. We are entering February, coming out of a full blue supermoon total lunar eclipse at 11 degrees of Leo on the 31st of January. And coming into February for the first several weeks, in addition to 6 months after this eclipse, your fourth house of home and environment has been hit. And there's closure here. There is the getting rid of materials that are outdated in the home and literally scrubbing and cleaning the home. I would recommend, if you're not moving, to bleach all the walls, the floors. You want this wrapped up because this full moon is saying goodbye to old dust mites, old wounds. So this is literal and metaphorical energy. Old energy or old anger that you're holding on to in relationship to the experience with your mother, for those who that applies. The fourth house of mom, getting rid of wounds there, and family traumas, not dramas, but traumas. And what I'm hearing is that some of you have lived a long time with these wounds, or having to bury them, and it's time for them to come up and out, and then you don't have to deal with them anymore. Allow them to be eclipsed out of your life. Don't harbor negative energy as much as you can, because it just gets mirrored back right at you, and that's not what you're trying to generate here. So closing the door on a literal environment that you've outgrown is important at the top of the month. But if you don't have the means to do that, reinventing the place that you live is important, and cleaning it is essential. On the 10th of February, Venus enters Pisces, and this begins a trend in the 11th house of friendship and clubs and groups and organizations that you're affiliated with. And Venus will be conjunct Neptune, so you've had a hard time discerning who's on your side and who's not, because Neptune makes you think everyone's on your side. And they're not. Not everybody's on everybody's side. Neptune is a little bit of delusion, and when I say on your side, some people don't have your best interest at heart. And you can't let everyone into your world who doesn't. So Neptune has been there kind of going, oh, they're good people. They told me that I look nice today, so I can have them in my home, and I can join their club because they look like they're decent. I just feel like you've let way too many people in, and now Venus, Mercury, and the Sun are going to be analyzing this sector and seeing how many people you need around you right now. And you might be stripping back a few of the acquaintances here. With Venus in the 11th house, you are attracted to being more social. You are in harmony with your relationships, your friendships, and in harmony with the clubs that you belong to, or what you attach your name to as far as groups or memberships. You're in harmony with them. And Neptune is there to remind us that life is but a dream, but you can't have too many people in the boat, is what I'm hearing. So row, row, row your boat is coming up. Life is but a dream. You can't have too many people sitting in that with you, otherwise the boat sinks. So just be discerning, and that's what Mercury's going to do. On the 17th, Mercury enters Pisces to help analyze the 11th house of clubs and groups and who's with you and who's against you. But just in between those two dates, We have Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day if you celebrate that. And then on the 15th, we have our new moon partial eclipse at 27 degrees of Aquarius. And this impacts the career sector for Taurus in a brand new way, in a good way. There's a reset button when the new moon is present, especially when it's eclipsing energy. So there's a fresh start in your career, but more importantly, how you are seen in career, your title, your status, and even your recognition. I would love to see if I got the star card for you in here, or even the Six of Wands. So the new moon in the 10th house is saying, how's your career, Taurus? Are you receiving some kind of award or accolade or even promotion mid-February? Be aware, awareness is present during eclipse season. We're all being downloaded. It's best not to do too many risk-taking activities on an actual eclipse, even 2.5 days before, 2.5 days after an eclipse, just because we are affected in our subconscious mind. We are being eclipsed overhead in the galaxy, in the solar system, but we are of this universe, and we are comprised of the galaxy and the stardust. So we are experiencing this in our own bodies as well. So it's best to just stay very present as much as you can, and don't, go skydiving on the day of the eclipse. Then 17th Mercury enters Pisces, the 18th the Sun enters Pisces, conjunct Venus and Neptune in that 11th house. Discerning energy, forced, focused energy in the 11th house of the internet. And you could establish a grand internet presence and maybe even take that into your career, kind of like how I do. Because with the 10th house eclipsed and then the 11th house so prominent, it could project you into the world as a global star. And maybe you have a new career path altogether. It doesn't even have to be in the same genre of how you're working. Taurus could have a new career path entirely. So good job. And all of this planetary energy in the sign of Pisces trines Jupiter in Scorpio, in water. So this is expansive energy in igniting the business partnership sector, up to the 11th house of who you're connecting with sector. And it could even be your relationship in the 7th house starts to become influenced by what you do. And if you're happy at work, you're happy at home. Things are interrelated. There's a correlation to this energy when planets are in harmony and trining one another. So let's see what your cards say. I'm excited to see what comes up if you'd like to read with me privately. I'm at audreyalison.com, and you can select your desired reading length via the PayPal button, and I'll get back to you in a day or two to set that up. I am taking a moment just to read a quote from the Thoth deck by Aleister Crowley, who conceptualized this deck in 1938 and implemented it in 1942 with the help of Lady Frida Harris, who painted the depictions on the card. This quote inspired me, and every blue moon, once in a blue moon, I pay homage to an artist or a creative thinker or an intuitive who has inspired me, and today I'd like to read a quote of his that was just brilliantly expressed. The tarot is a pictorial representation of the forces of nature as conceived by the ancients according to a conventional symbolism. At first sight, one would suppose this arrangement to be arbitrary, but it is not. It is necessitated by the structure of the universe, and in particular of the solar system, as symbolized by the Holy Kabbalah. And the end. I just love it. I will memorize it, and it is a very powerful statement that I think is beautifully, eloquently expressed. Okay, so Taurus, your first card for February. Princess of Swords. She's defending herself. She's also a very strong communicator. And harsh communicator at that. It could be a younger air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy in your life. Let's see what else comes up here. Okay, now I'm hearing sister. So some of you, this is your sister. Do you have your sibling sector? No, but I'm hearing could be your sister. Oh, 9 of Swords. Says cruelty at the bottom. So if you have those wounds in the area of family, it is definitely time to release them and not harbor resentment. The 9 of Swords mixed with the Princess of Swords is feeling some harsh resentment and possibly anxiety over a communication or a person, air sign, or a situation that involves a harsh tone. Now you've got the Magician, the Magus. Beautiful. You have every tool that you need, Taurus, to implement your successes and to get over what's hindering you. The Magician starts the Tarot right after the Fool, the number 1 card, the initiating energy of Mercury. Mercury in Pisces in the 11th house. You know what serves you best, and you know who and what you need to belong to. I'm getting a very powerful stance right now. Like even my posture's getting up, and I'm feeling the energy of this Princess of Swords. She's ready to, you know, guard against and fight. And she is powerful. She's not the queen, but I don't think she cares. She's more reckless than the queen. She's more reckless. So you have the potential to really slay, if you want, somebody either with your tongue or your sword. I don't want you hurting anybody because you'll only hurt yourself. So let's see what else you have here. Damn, Ace of Swords. Taurus is feeling communicative, but also in defense of what you express, who you are, what you have written, what you have sold, your story. And you're right. You're right. And you are the victor. And you are clear of thought. You are clear thinking. And yes, the answer is yes. Okay, so if you were thinking of a question around this reading, it's yes. And take a clear, clean, decisive approach. Make your decision. You have 1 more card. Oh, the Sun. And it ends happy, and it ends in the successful realm. Wow, look at this. Boom. Number 19. Happiness. The end. See you later. Click. It's probably the best card in the deck. Family, warmth, opportunity, positive thinking, the life force, power. You have the Magician, the Ace of Swords, and the Sun. In that order. And that is an order that I wouldn't F with. I really feel like there's what starts out as you having an argument or taking a resentful approach or being bitter and saying stuff that you don't mean and then feeling bad about it or having the sense of cruelty around you. Then you have everything taken care of. You have the Magician working on your behalf, the energy of Mercury, summoning all the tools you need for manifestation. You then have the Ace of Swords telling you, yes, go for it, make your magic. And then your outcome is the Sun. All right, I'm sending you much love, Taurus. I hope that this was helpful. I'm wishing you a peaceful February. Remember, the sky is limitless, so reach for the stars.